Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody is still awake. Anyway, it's been a long day and a very, very interesting one. I think not a dull moment. We had series of prolific adventurers and speakers as a part of the day. Now we have a team of very interesting, outstanding panel here again, discussing on a very important topic, the future of adventure tourism. Adventure tourism, now it's valued at about $2.7 billion for India. And post-COVID, everybody's heading outdoors. Everybody's trying to do out of comfort zone, getting closer to the nature. So, Mr. Sanjay, you're a man of very interesting background. You've been a very outdoor, lots of sports in your credentials. So what do you see from a current scenario, the future of adventure tourism in India? And if you can focus a little bit of what Shillong looks like to you, Meghalaya looks like.
This is my first visit to Northeast state, and I'm just thrilled to see so many of unexplored opportunities over here. As a tourism professional and majorly working into the glamping segment, designing and developing adventure parks, my experience has been very versatile in last more than 3 decades now. And the future, what I see, there is a huge gap, which we, as you mentioned regarding the datas, the world datas today stands for $350 billion, and we are just $0.3 billion. And we are focusing, like Ministry of Tourism is focusing, to increase these datas up to $2 billion by 2028. And the world will be reaching at $750 billion. So gap is really very huge. We know this adventure is basically 2 types of adventure what we do in India and abroad. One is the hardcore adventure and one is the soft adventure. I know the business because we do the business and we look into the return of investment, whatever we do and whatever our investors spend the money. So money comes with the soft adventure because there the footfall is big, it's safe, it's steady. You can have not a regular events. You can do a regular events. You can create a small destinations. You can make it in the city, outside the city, in the jungles, in all the locations. And adding to this, we added with the glamping. We pioneered in India, running successfully this is the largest glamping retreat in Eco Glamp in Uttarakhand. So when we see the terrain of eastern states, this is very, very fascinating. And every part, every state has its own USP. We should plan to bring more investments into this sector. And definitely when we are bringing the investor, it is only about the money we are bringing. We are not bringing the people from outside to work, but it will be locals only who will be working. This is what we do wherever we go. So I think by looking to the future, soft adventures has to be taken care of because it will create a better version of, because until unless the people get adjusted to the soft adventures, like bungee jumping is also, I call it a soft, or is dirt biking or the aqua parks we can develop. This type of activities will definitely rotate the footfall also. And in adventure, we add one more element. Adventure is basically a part of entertainment. When the entertainment joins, the adventure will flourish. And for the hardcore adventures, then you have to create those events, calendar of events for certain one state at a time, and we can create series of events in a year. Looking to the season and the off season, and it's not far. I traveled. I reached from Delhi to this place in 6 hours. It's not far. It's reachable.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Sanjay. That was very insightful comments, and I look forward that you find some partners here whereby you can bring in some investors and set up something very nice here. So Ashish, you're from a very interesting background. You're credited for mentoring startups. So today's gathering, lots of young people here. So that's, I think, one of the highlights of this gathering. So it's kind of like a master class for them, sharing wisdom imparted by the gathering here, adventurers and
well, thank you. When you're the last one on the panel or the last panel, you have an advantage where 90% of the people have already left. You have a disadvantage in a subject like this that you're highly complex. I've seen panelists here who've endured themselves to go over various poles, climb the mountains, I've done none of that.
Anyway, Ashish, so let me, so if somebody, there's lots of spaces where you can get into tourism. You don't really need to be on the ground, you know what I mean,
So this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I got so complex, I said, let me find out what is the meaning of adventure. And I went to my friend over here to guide me what is adventure. And this is what I came up with. And some of the words here are important for us to imbibe. It says, an unusual, exciting, and possibly dangerous activity, such as a trip, action or experience, or the excitement produced by such an action. Now, if you sort of underline few of the words, you will find that when you look at the future, as you look ahead, we have always been talking in the country, whether it's adventure tourism or normal tourism or any aviation, we've talked about the physical infrastructure. I want to tell you about the digital infrastructure. Today, the digital highway is changing the way the supply chains are managed, the journeys are consumed, and of course, the journeys are searched. And the same applies here for adventure. If you look at the government, and we've always complained about the government not invest, or even private, not investing enough in the physical infrastructure. True, very true that. You need a physical infrastructure. But if you look at it, the digital infrastructure is far outpacing the physical infrastructure. If you look at a thing like ONDC, which is Open Network for Digital Commerce, let me first make it clear. Two very fundamental points, which I always speak. There is a word known as OTA, Online Travel Agent. To me, Online Travel Agent is dead and buried. It was born in 2002, it dies in 2010. That's when the internet came in. And why it died today or earlier is because everybody is online. So there is nothing known as an online travel agent. The only difference, or aggregator or consolidator or consumption. The only difference is either you're assisting or you're doing it on yourself. That's the only difference. The second point I make is the traditional supply pipeline and even consumption pipeline in the country or the world is highly fragmented. We sit here in Meghalaya, we sit here in Shillong, and we've had people to say, I've got this canoe running over here, and somebody says, I've got a bungee jumping. But how do you get this bungee jumping and the canoe onto the mainstream? Right? So if you look at a digital highway like, for example, and there are many such, ONDC. ONDC connects the bungee jumper to the kind of clothes you should be wearing at bungee jumping, all in one seamless technology, if you should so want it. The government has launched it. By the way, at FICCI, we are the knowledge partners for ONDC, so I know exactly what they intend to do. Lastly, how digital infrastructure is changing your life, and that will happen in adventure. And it said something about dangerous. Let me tell you, technology is bringing some safety. Obviously, rock falling on you or you falling off the cliff. You can't prevent the rock from not falling due to technology. But certainly to be able to locate people, see where they are, technology is aiding more and more. And somebody, of course, talked about soft adventure and hard adventure, etc. So the point here I finally want to put to rest before you pose the next question is that the consumption levels of tourism in whichever manner will be far superior and different than they are today. And there is no point of saying, and lastly, of course, and I heard a lot on the panel, and we've always been worried about more going into the queues. In fact, Mandeep and I were talking about the traffic jams from Dehradun to Mussoorie, for example, or the cars lining up. Today, this technology is like a river. It can build a dam, it can harness the flow of traffic, you can take it to where you want to do, you can stop from where it doesn't want to go. But the question is, this industry as a whole has to imbibe it. It's all in the mind, and we are not changing our mind as yet.
Great, great. Thank you, Ashish. I mean, technology is the integral part of everything we do, definitely in tourism, whether it's your marketing, disseminating information, you know, your everything you do has to be hooked up with technology. So definitely all the points you've highlighted is, you know, extremely valid and something we can learn, and would love to interact with you closely later. Coming to Raz, you know, you're an old friend, and then you're one original, how do you say, down-to-earth person, you know, who's been working with, you know, grassroots level with the communities for a very, very long time with conservation or, you know, all kind of things with grassroots communities. Now, you know, we have lots of young students here who has come to gain some knowledge. Now, all of them has a background of a tribal community. You know, we have a very traditional background. We have certain, you know, social commitments. But, you know, fielding them into a place like adventure tourism, I mean, what kind of approach do you see, you know, sending them out to a field of adventure tourism, at the same time carrying their value of their culture, of their tradition, of their grassroots background? You know, what's your take on this?
Thank you. Okay, it's a wonderful question, actually. I would like to highlight, you know, when adventure tourism actually started, it was always there in India, and the adventure that we follow today is more of a colonial adventure. And you know, there was a time when we had clubs in the bigger cities, and the clubs used to organize these adventure activities, trekkings and expeditions and all the different kind of things. But it was never linked to tourism. It was always, you know, a group of people who loves adventure, who knows about it. Either it was the defense forces, the army and the other people, the air forces, or it was these clubs who used to go into this, you know, these expeditions and these adventure activities. But then came the time when, you know, we started looking at how adventure can be a part of tourism. And then we were a few of us who took it up as an activity, as a business, and we took it forward. And then we started connecting the local communities with that. You know, when we started connecting the local communities, we found that communities were far more, you know, efficient when it came to adventure activities and leading them and taking it forward, because their inbuilt, their activities within their villages was so much physically and mentally with the landscape, with the nature, that they could easily adapt to this kind of thing. They did not need initially any kind of formal training. Like you know about the Sherpas, when you go to the Everest, you know that the Sherpas are inborn to, you know, to take you, to lead you to the climbing peaks. Similarly, this adaptability of the local communities is what we found in adventure tourism as the biggest advantage. And today when we segregate, you know, hardcore adventure and soft adventure, because now in this generation of mobile, when people are more, you know, more sitting in places, stagnant on their mobiles, on the screens most of the time, so there is hardly any opportunity for playing, for outdoors, for games. So over here, the activities in the villages which are there, maybe climbing a tree, following the trail of a shepherd, itself is an adventure for a city person. So these kind of things have slowly come up with time. And, you know, at least in the domestic market, you know, this has been a very good combination, that you ride a bullock cart or you go on a shepherd's trail or you climb up a tree, and all this kind of small little village activities which the villagers are very much used to has also become a part of adventure. So rural tourism and adventure is now like married to each other. It's two sides of a coin where we can, just say that, our villages are the backyards for adventure, and let's bank on it, let's work on it, because no one in the world has such a good landscape all the way from the seas to the desert to the Himalaya.
Thank you, Ras. Great points. But at the same time, all these activities, adventure tourism, unless it converts into economic benefit for the people, unless it converts into a career option for the young people, I don't think it makes much sense. But at the same time, we have to ensure the safety guidelines, risk mitigation, those are all in place. People come for a holiday. Of course, they want to take a bit of risk. Everybody's done. That's what adventure is about. Yes. You do something out of your comfort zone, something physical, something something your mom would tell you not to do. Mr. Soin has done, I don't know, all kind of things. Colonel Swarup has just shown his madness walking on the polar areas. I, on my part, I rafted down the Grand Canyon, and I have a certificate in paragliding and things like that. But, what we have to keep in mind is that, we have to, the safety and then...
very true.
Is
very true.
Paramount important. Yes. We have to go parallel with that as we develop tourism, adventure tourism, wherever it is. We have to maintain that, safety and sustainability. Everything is in place. Now we have a very interesting panelist here. There are a different kind of adventure we have. So he's from a slightly non-linear adventure. May I say, culinary adventure. He's done some interesting food. It's not just sitting and eating. It combined with safaris and physical activities. So, Ajit, what do you see as future of adventure tourism, but incorporating what you do, most of it?
Thank you.
Food is a part of everything. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. First, I'd just like to, address the topic, which is the future of adventure tourism. I think adventure tourism is here to explode. It's going to become huge. Now, what is adventure? Adventure is a mindset. What is an adventure for one person is nothing for the other person. But what has changed in travel is people no longer just want to travel and visit and see. They want to participate and get immersive with an experience. That's the way travel has become. And the trend that one is seeing, especially after COVID, when people were locked up at home, this new culture, work from home culture started, which even though offices have reopened, the work from home culture is very much still there. People still do 2-3 days a week from home. So when people get out, they really want to get out and do stuff. And it's in the doing stuff, which is where service providers for adventure travel need to be able to offer a variety of things. Like everyone has spoken about soft adventure, hard adventure. Again, what is hard adventure for somebody might be soft for somebody else. However, you have a basic category, like, if you're going to be doing mountaineering, that very clearly comes under hard adventure. But even soft adventure, like what we do, what is it that we do? We call it a rural adventure. What is it? It's basically getting off the main road, getting into our open jeeps, getting into a four-wheel drive, doing a run on a dry riverbed, interacting with local communities, having a rural lunch, or if it's slightly more detailed, people want a little more out of it, then we do something which we've earned a name for over the last few years, which is a kind of underground cooking of a leg of lamb or something. And and we invite the guests, to get their hands dirty, to help. Now, all this constitutes as an adventure, and this is what it is becoming. Adventure, people who want to take part in adventure varies with age, economic levels, and the area you come from, fitness levels. Today, you see the youth of today, they are much fitter. They are more conscious about what they are going to be in their old age. They are eating healthy. I see it with my own kids. I see it with my kids' friends. They are eating healthier and they are living healthier. And the result is that they also want to go out and do more. So I think even the tour operators and travel companies and hotels who used to be just receiving guests and giving them, what a hotel gives, have to incorporate a level of adventure to offer. And similar with tour operators, they have to, even if they've never done adventure, they will, if they already haven't done so, have an adventure wing in their agency, because that's the future of travel today.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Ajit. Those are really insightful points. So I think what we gathered today is adventure tourism has a really big potential, long way to go, but it has to be combined with a very deep understanding of your activity. It has to be supported by very good government policies. And of course, it has to come, it has to be provided with really nice and interesting food. So I like to thank all the panelists here today and all the audience for your patience listening. And this is definitely the last of our, this is not the last of our meeting and deliberation. Only a few, lots more of this coming, and we are happy to be in touch. If any of you want to get in touch with us, keep in touch and be a part of the network. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would like to add one small thing, like the beauty which I've seen in the Meghalaya and the surrounding area, Arunachal Pradesh. I'll just give a small example of promotion and getting everything into the bucket. You must have heard about a movie of three friends going to Spain and doing different activities. That changed the scenario of inbound tourism of Spain altogether. Everybody was rushing for their reunion parties over there and doing the stuff. When we have so much of adventure in our states, why can't we invite Bollywood directors, writers to write a story, a script, a program over here, create a series over here, and that will be a very fascinating idea of bringing the Bollywood to these states. I think it's still missing. I think we should add that.
Great. Can I make a final line? Whereas you can have adventurous tourism, but you can't have tourism which is adventurous. So therefore, that's where technology comes in, to make it, from the time you leave home to the time you get back, as seamless possible interaction in your footsteps.
Okay, thank you everybody.